so I'm getting all heated up.
Here we go.
We're live.
We are live.
Hi. Oh my God. Hi, everybody. I'm like,
Hi, everybody.
where do I look? I got the camera and I got all these amazing faces here in front of me. So, an official welcome to all of my Rock Your Life Goddesses to Goddess Jam sessions. And this is a very special edition. The graphic was not lying, people. Right, Deva? Special edition. Say no more.
Wow.
The graphic was not lying. This has been a long time coming, and I'm getting all the chills and all the goosebumps because this is a really, really special collection of incredible powerhouse, visionary women that I'm like, there might be some tears, hopefully more laughs than tears, but there might be some tears. Just fair warning. I'm going to introduce all of them in a second, but let me just say that the incredible privilege and honor of being able to call all of these women, not just colleagues, but sisters, and even more than that, there's a really deep connection and a really deep thread that is woven through all of us. And we'll tell you a little bit more about how we all came together, because you know, the universe had to bring us together, because all these things had to happen. So, but thank you, ladies. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and for creating the time and the space to bring on the waterworks MC. It's all good. We got it. We got it. All right. So let me first make sure here on this handy dandy Facebook app that we are in fact live after that beautiful intro. Yes, we are. All right. Awesome. And to everybody joining us live, welcome. Comment below, send us hearts. We love the love. If you're watching the replay, #replay. And if you're watching anywhere else outside the group, like YouTube or anywhere else, say hi as well. We love you. All right. So let's, so I have everybody in no particular order here. I'm just going to go around. When I say your name, just do like a sign or something so that we know who we're talking about. So first we're starting with Amy Elizabeth, or Amy E, the Moonshot Magic Queen. She is a master communicator, published author, relationship architect, and compassion activist. Welcome, Amy E.
Aloha. Welcome. Thank you, my dear. So good to be here.
Yes, thank you for being here. And after I introduce you, tell us where you're from too, so we know. Got all corners of the globe represented here. Where are you from?
Yes, we do. Across the Pacific.
Yeah.
From the most, I think we have the most distance between us and any other inhabited land. So the big island of Hawaii, the healing island of Hawaii, coming to you with the warmth and aloha from my heart to yours.
Yeah. Amy wins the prize for coolest place where she lives, clearly. Then we have Sarah. Say hi, Sarah. She is a pediatric occupational therapist with a recent haircut that she's sporting.
That's right. That's right.
Looking amazing.
That's right. And
thank you for being here, Sarah.
Thanks. Coming from Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then we have the magical, the mystical Kat Z. Hi. So Kat Z is a artist, visionary, and the founder of Cosmic Smashbooking, which say no more. Please follow this woman. Follow this woman. Get some of that magic in your life. Then we have Beth. Where are you, beautiful Beth? There she is. She is a coach, a connector, a retreat leader. She believes in living life by design. Beth Monpas. Hi, Beth.
Hello, coming to you from the Midwest, Des Moines, Iowa.
Yes. Oh, and Kat, I didn't let you say where you were coming from. Where are you coming from, darling?
I'm from a little town, a stagecoach town called Banning, California, just west of Palm Springs.
Wow. I love that, stagecoach town. It sounds so cinematic. Then let's say hello to the beautiful MC, Mary Carol. Hi, she is a lifestyle branding and fine art photographer and so much more. This title is, all these titles, I'm like, there's just so much more to all of these women than just these puny titles, but hey. So Mary Carol, you're coming from the beautiful
San Diego, California.
Yes, yes. This woman lives a hop, skip, and literally a hop away from the beach. I've been there. I love it. I almost moved there just because I wanted to be close to MC. but I'm in Miami, which is okay. Still good.
beautiful.
Still good.
It's another
Still
area.
beautiful.
I call it paradise hopping.
Yes.
Miami,
Yeah.
Naples, San Diego, Hawaii.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Then let's say hello to Nicole. Nicole, there she is. Nicole is a certified life and executive coach who works with business owners and career-driven professionals. One of the most joyful women I've ever met. Beautiful
Thank you.
powerhouse. Thank you for being here, hun.
Thank you. Currently Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes. But really,
Who knows
she's like
where I'll land.
she's a citizen of the world. She surprises us all the time with where she's hopping to. Then we have the beautiful, delicious, amazing, juicy Tam. Tam is a multi-passionate creative and mama of 3 who is currently writing a book, among many other things. I couldn't fit them all, Tam. I could not fit them all. There's music, there's books, there's Cosmic Smash booking. There's, yes. Honor to call her my dear friend. And Tam, where are you joining us from?
I am here in New York.
Yeah, beautiful. Then we have the amazing healer extraordinaire, Tia, awakened heart activator. Also frisky enough to be the one who has a secret underneath that beautiful top. She's not gonna tell anybody about it. Or is she? Stay till the end. Yeah. She's sporting the red lips. Those red lips mean business. And she just recently graduated from PhD 4. Congratulations, Tia.
Thank you.
Yes. Then we have the beautiful Jen. Jen, where are you, darling? Recent new mom. And look at her, glowing in all the ways. She is a heart activator who helps women let go of control so they can create the life they desire. Amen, sister.
Yes.
Can we multiply that power by like 10,000? Because letting go of control, let me tell you something about that.
Especially with an infant, that's not always easy.
Oh, we're getting schooled in all the ways on that. Then where is the beautiful Deva? Deva, there you are. Oh my gosh. I love this woman. Deva is, again, all the things, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about your path when we get into the conversation. But one of the highlights I wanted to mention is she recently opened something called Edge Ventures, which is just so freaking cool, which is all about stepping into a vision of taking you to the edge to find your edge through international transformational explorations. Like, where do we sign up? When are these happening? Because
yeah, COVID. It was supposed to happen this year.
Right? Yeah, they're coming. And then last but certainly not least, we have the amazing Violeta. She's in the tropics. But really, where are you, Violeta?
Suburbs of sunny Phoenix, Arizona.
There we go. And Violeta is a peace guide. That's it. I was like, Violeta, how do you want me to introduce you? She's like, peace guide. And I'm like, works for me. That's it. Peace guide. I love, like way to own it, right? So I'm sorry, Deva, I didn't let you say where you're from. You're in Atlanta, right? Currently?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta with my buddy Nicole down there.
Yes. And then Tia is in
Western Massachusetts.
And Jen, I didn't let you say where you were from.
Appleton, Wisconsin.
So look at this collection. And I am your host from Miami, Maria Aleandra. You can call me MA as well. And let's get going because we got a lot. I'm just going to let it like intuitively flow while I start lighting some Palo Santo to set the tone for Goddess Jam sessions. Whoever wants to chime in and start the conversation going, let's do it. Who's feeling it?
Wait, can I just say, if you look really quick, it looks like MC has a big pair of underwear, like a very large man's underwear hanging on the wall.
Underwear? It's like a beach blanket.
Just say there's an underwear theme in this conversation. So
has the striped one.
The striped one? That looks like underwear. Thanks for saying it now, Nicole, since we're live. Jesus.
All right, so letting the underwear guide us. Letting the granny panties guide us. We shall dive into Goddess Jam sessions.
Sisterhood of the granny pants.
There's room for all.
Actually my new pillowcase cover. So thank you, Nicole, for starting the conversation. So during this time in COVID, I have revamped my space. I finally got some area rugs. I moved in 10 days before the shutdown. I'm living behind really awesome friends of mine that I've known since I was 8 years old from Wisconsin. And it's been an absolute blessing. We have grown a garden, which we call the farm, La Finca, in the back. So I'm gardening for the first time, and there's all of these things that are happening. I'm like, wow, like I'm in such a very like centered space, more so centered than I've ever felt in a very long time. So let that the underwear back there.
Yeah. Underwear is quite grounding, I've heard. Yeah. So taking on that, let's riff on that, because no mistake. So what are some of the things that, and again, I want to go back and sort of set the tone of why we all connected and where we met. So we met through a transformational leadership program called Hardcore Leadership, HCL. We're HCL 6, or Team Love, as we lovingly call ourselves. And we met back in January of 2019. Yes, right? January of last year, right? Seems like a lot longer.
In the best of ways, right?
Yeah, in the best ways. Seems like a forever ago. So I'd love to hear from some of you, like, what was your experience of being in community and sisterhood before the experience of falling into something like that, and leaning into what it means to be together and grow together versus what you experience now?
I'd love to start with that.
Yeah. Tam and Dave are off to the races. I'll let you guys figure it out. Who has the cutest panties right now? That's how we will decide who goes
I have
first.
little stars on them.
Okay.
I've had the cutest pants.
Oh, she does.
But you win.
Dava.
All right.
Go for it.
Yeah. Pre this wonderful group here, I definitely showed up in the world as I know it all. I can do everything, the best, like a perfectionist. I don't need anyone. I know friends are nice to have, like for social gathering occasionally, but I don't need to check in with anyone, and I'm fine. Fine is fucking insecure, neurotic, and emotional, folks. That's what fine is. When you're fine, you're not that fine. So and and just like you're a mom, and then I was a mom too. That was also a way of like further isolating myself, thinking, oh, now I'm not cool anymore. I'm a parent, and kids, time suck, right? And just getting wrapped into that, and not even looking out, not even connecting anymore, thinking, well, maybe later, at some point, but no, that was the time I really needed to connect, and just finding, I got to this group just in time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I thank you. I definitely resonate personally with a lot of what you said. And that I think is, because and what I want to make a point of it is it's not just about the experience that we went through collectively, which was very powerful, but it's about how we seek, like, understanding the before and after of what's possible when, as women, we seek each other and allow ourselves to see ourselves instead of just like being that space of, oh, that's nice, or competition, or like I love what you said about the friends kind of being on the periphery of your life, because you're like, I got this. Like, friends are nice to have, but it's very different when you go into a space of the depth that you can achieve with people that are, that you develop a different closeness with, which is very, very vulnerable. So yeah.
And I saw what Tam, what you post as well today, and I have to agree with that as well, that I was very like driven kind of prior to kids, like male, like in that sphere, more feeling safe than with women. Definitely was not feeling safe with women, feeling couldn't relate, and I was just like one of the guys, and just like type A in a lot of ways. So Tam, I'd love to hear you like as well.
Yeah, that's exactly like what came up for me, even in just promoting our talk tonight. I looked at all of your beautiful faces on that graphic and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel safe and loved and like held by each of you. And I know that that's reciprocal, and it's been so healing to have safe circles of women to be in. And I think for me, it was very similar of like being lost parts of myself, I think. And even in the group that we were in, because the training that we met in was not all women, it was a mix of everyone. And it took me a while to find kind of easeful spaces with the women in the group. And now I call some of you my closest friends, like, you know, and so it's been really powerful shift for me to experience what it's like. And I remember the moment when I heard another woman like celebrating a win, and I didn't feel any sense of like anything except joy bubbling up for her. And I think it was you, Emma. I remember you sharing something and I was like, I just feel so much joy. And like, no, there's no sense of like a threat. And I think that for me was like a big thing. It was not just like feeling threatened by other women, but also feeling like if I showed up fully and fully shown my light, that I would be somehow threatening to other women. And so it's been really, really healing for me. And I just love you guys so much. So good.
Yes. Yes. I'd love to hear what anybody wants to share around that idea of healing the sister wound. Like what comes up for you when you hear that?
Safety comes up. Safety and feeling safe and secure, and that you are always supported. Like there's always somebody that you can reach out to, and to not be afraid to reach out because there's no judgment and it's safe and secure. And I feel like for me, for instance, like going back to like feeling more centered now and having this space, and like I feel safe in my space. I feel safe in my community of women. I feel safe, you know, on where I'm living and all of that. And it's so important to know that there's some, you know, it's just important to know that there's always support out there, no matter where you are and what you're living in, you know. But it's to know that I've got each and every single one of you is like, just really brings it home.
Yeah. And I just like, for me, I didn't realize how important that was and how much it was missing in my life. You know, just that ability to be really vulnerable and authentically myself. Whereas, you know, before coming to leadership, it always felt like I had to hold this piece back, you know, this piece that was not safe to be seen or held, and almost viewed it as inappropriate or like a weakness, you know, on my part. So it's like these things that like I buried deep down. It's like, well, I'll just keep this to myself. It's not safe to share. It's not safe for anyone to see. But, you know, in that sisterhood, the magic is just allowing it to come through, allowing it to come out, and how healing that can be. Just, you know, watching, you know, like me being fully myself and knowing that I can be held.
I would say for me, this is such a beautiful conversation because we didn't create this story. The story was put upon us. And it goes way back in time. The idea that women compete with each other, that there's not enough, there's scarcity, that we need to be set up against each other, was a story that was fed to us for centuries as a way to hold us down so that we wouldn't step forward in our power. There's this transitional period of time in the history of the world where we moved from goddess worship to a monotheological, masculine-dominated approach to things. And so during the Roman era, that was really the first time it was the Romans who created their living structures to lock women away. And that's when the stories started to be invented that a woman's sexual power was out of control. And her fire, her sexual fire was so hot that if you made love to her or you had sex with her, you could be burned alive. And so these stories started to be created as a way to separate women and to scare us so that we wouldn't step fully into our power. And here we are, centuries and centuries later, moving into a paradigm of dropping that story and seeing it for what it is. So not about blame, not about hating, about seeing that we're in a new we're in a new time. We're in a time of lifting each other up, holding each other high, reaching out to one another. There's abundance everywhere. There are plenty of jobs. There's plenty of wealth. There's plenty of love. And we can be here with one another, supporting each other, having thriving businesses, thriving families, thriving friendships, and affecting amazing change in the world.
I'm
Yes.
just impressed that I didn't call any of you before this and ask you what you were wearing tonight. Because I used to be the girl that always wanted to be dressed, or as I wanted to be the same. In fact, I used words like-minded. I was really comfortable with people that were very similar to me. So one of my things is before a party, what are you wearing? And now tonight, I absolutely love that I just got off my paddleboard and I'm wearing my swimsuit top with a little, and it's okay. And it's so awesome that we all show up totally our own, and there's just love. There's not that we need to all be alike. So that was growth for me, not to ask what we're wearing.
And Beth, I totally thought that
Love
was a
it.
cocktail dress that you had going on there.
Thought I could get away with a halter dress, like a.
Is the paddleboard cocktail dress. She's starting a new trend.
Love it. I did. You got on. It was like, look at that sexy dress you have on. You're like, oh, no.
Just a little swimsuit for tonight.
I want to share that I appreciate you and love you so deeply and immensely for keep showing me the way. I'm always felt that other women are like a drama queens, and the best thing to avoid them to just talk to men. And you were keep and still are showing me the way that it's okay to be woman and okay to surround yourself around women and be vulnerable and be loving and kind, and there's really no competition, and keep breaking through that as well. That there's so much abundance in this world. It's enough for all of us, and we are enough, and we were.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you, Tia, for bringing out that beautiful, it was like, we were all like leaning in, like mesmerized, like, tell me more. And it's Violeta, as you were saying that, I'm thinking how, there's always this call of like, oh, join together and, like join with your sisters. But when we really look at it, there's like this deeper layer, again, I think of a lot of healing and a lot of trust, because what happens is our power gets magnified, and that fire and that power that we all have inside as women, it grows. And so there's this huge piece of trust, of trusting ourselves that we can keep showing up and showing bright, and that there's no such thing as being too much when you're in your authenticity, and that the other can be the same, because we're all like mirrors of each other. So I'd love to hear again any other stories from of that perspective, and I look at all of you and I think back again at all of us, including myself, when we first showed up and in that space that we met, the way we looked, the way we held our heads, the way we maybe didn't speak up, the way we were like kind of like this. And I see us now, and I'm just like in this awe of like the luminosity and the confidence. And it's this confidence that comes from a deep place of like, I know myself a little better than I did before, and I continue to get to know myself, and it's so magnetic. And yeah, so I'd love to hear from other thoughts on what comes up for you with this.
Well, and I think it was also about being with women leaders.
Yes.
And that each woman here is a leader who has a tribe, who stands for, other people and have a ripple effect out in the world. And this is the one place, that we all get to come to as leaders and support each other, in the way you were talking about not, repelling or in competition. And that's a great power. And, I thank you all for going first.
Well, and I
Yeah,
think just back to the time when we all met and we all came into that, the room together. And, I remember walking into that room and totally having my guard on and my armor really high. And it's really a matter of like pretty quickly learning that like, you can tear that off. And I didn't know any of you before this process. And it just taught me that like, I can walk into a room and connect with somebody that I don't know very quickly on a really deep level. And there doesn't necessarily have to be this whole lived history together and all of these shared experiences, but really bringing your whole self is inviting another person to really bring their whole selves to the table too. And that is truly where connection happens. Even if you don't have all that history and context and familiarity and things in common and all of that, it's just coming to the fore and really opening yourself.
Mm.
I remember coming out of the room and going, when I explained my experience of the trainings, it was that I had never felt so vulnerable, so naked, so exposed, and so loved at the same time, right? Like just letting people, one, just feeling myself, right? Like expressing things that I don't know if I ever let myself feel, and crying and having snot running down my face and having somebody look at me like, I love you and I accept you. And I think that was the most powerful piece for me.
Well, Nicole, I wonder if part of that too is like understanding that like your perception, maybe before this process, like your perception of people maybe not accepting you is really about you. And like you going in there and releasing and being fully you was a degree of accepting that part of you and accepting being seen in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it really didn't have so much to do with other people's opinions. It was really more about like the opinion, like your own opinion of yourself, your own acceptance.
Yeah,
I love that you say that, because we're a mirror reflection of the experiences that are in front of us and the people that are in front of us and the things that we're experiencing. So it's like, when we're having an experience about something, how do we get to look at it and self-reflect, internally and be like, oh, wait a second. Wait, this does have something to do with me. Even if it might not look like it has anything to do with you, but this can go across the board, like in relationships and friendships and, and anything in conversations or encounters with people on the sidewalk. It's like we are what we're experiencing in front of us.
Yeah, that was a huge piece for me. Like I had set this idea and intention that I was going to go on a trip around, like I thought it was going to be a trip around the world to like meet people and find the pieces of myself. That's how I felt. I felt like I had lost myself before stepping into that room. And then when I stepped into that room, I thought it was going to be something totally different than it was. And after the full experience, it was like I realized that I had found the pieces of myself. They were just in all of the people that I was looking in the eye. Like every person was a reflection of some aspect of me, and everyone else seemed to be having the same experience. And it was like this magical thing. I'm like, how is this even possible? And like you said, MC, it's like, and now I just go through my life and I'm like, that is what's real. Like anyone that we come into, like that comes into our lives, anytime our paths touch with someone, there's something for me to learn, there's something for me to offer out. And it's like this beautiful continuing loop of giving and receiving always.
Absolutely. And that it reminds me of a past relationship I was in, and like being at odds with somebody and thinking like, wait a second, what do I have to do with this conversation? Like I didn't do anything wrong, playing, whether I was playing the victim or just not seeing eye to eye. And then I'm like, oh, wait a second. This has nothing to do with me, but it totally has something to do with me and with what I get to look at within myself, if that makes sense. Like this person is going through something in this regard, but it's a similar thing that I get to look at within myself. So and that also lends compassion in certain situations and in your experiences and, compassion, understanding and all of it. And then also compassion for yourself. I'm like, oh, well, thank you for this. Thank you for showing me who I am being at the same time. gratitude,
Yeah.
all of it.
Well,
Amy, I saw you were going to unmute yourself. Did you want to share from?
And some of us get to experience the stretching into not saying as much, which is new for me. Many of you know I have lots of things.
I know. I keep sensing it. I'm like,
yes.
Bring her in.
Thank you for calling on me, because the beautiful, and it just is a reflection of the beauty of my experience in this leadership realm, which is a continuation of 25 plus years of personal development and what's the next level. And for me, it's about not relating to each other through my wounds. It's not relating through my addiction recovery. Kat, it's so amazing. When you were speaking earlier, the camera was on me. Somehow the box was around me, but I was muted. I was not saying anything. I'm like, that's because I could just say what Kat was saying. It's like, so there's such a sense of worthiness and belonging. And here's where my heart's just going to spill over, because that to me is the nectar of the goddesses. Yeah. That we don't have to hustle for our worthiness. We don't have to puff ourselves up or shrink ourselves back. This is a lot of Brene Brown's language. But for me, it was finding my own language, writing my own book, declaring my own moonshot of, I trust myself to no longer abandon myself. And I trust you to no longer abandon yourself. Meaning, I don't have to try to get in there and fix it and think that I'm the source for transformation for everyone. And I came across this beautiful quote the other day. Let us resist the proud assumption that since God has enabled us to do well in one area, we are destined to be a channel of saving grace for everything. And I was like, oh, like, you mean because I have all these gifts, I don't have to try to like make all this magic happen for other people. It was like a inflated sense of generating my own suffering and thinking it kept me in that state of striving, which created a life of strife. So really just being like, okay, let me antidote this story. And I love that Tia was talking about the story and the mythology, the story of separation that has been keeping me locked in this prison of self-aggression, of there's something else I got to do. And instead really soaking in the wisdom. And the reason I've won the prize, if we're saying that I've won the prize of where to live, it's because Aloha is living and breathing in this moment. I ola oi, I ola maukaone, which translated means my life is dependent on yours and your life is dependent on mine, in a way where we interact with the trees and the rocks and the, you know, Mary Carol, we're doing the garden here too. I want us to all raise our hand. Who's doing more stuff outside now that we're in a pandemic time? Yeah, that's good news. That's good news. So I just want to speak to the regenerative nature of our transformational work. It's not about sustainability anymore, because we cannot sustain what we've had. It's not going to get us where we want to go. It's not going to work for the greater good. It's about regenerating. And so much of the transformational journey was healing that old stuff, living by our contract. I used to have all these contracts. I'd have Jen's contract and Davis' contract, Violetta's contract. You know, they were like lining my window, and I would hold that in my heart. And I still do, even if I don't remember the words. There's more of a sense of being. And that was the greatest thing. Be, do, have. Be, do, have. So thank you.
Love that. And I want to take what you were expressing about it's this also like forward looking, where do we go from here? And so much, you know, I think the beauty of what's happening in spaces where women are gathering and rising together is because, as Tia was saying, you know, we're living a moment of a really deep paradigm shift that is going to continue to emerge. And I believe that what we'll see over the next few years is going to blow our minds in ways that we can't even begin to imagine right now. And so much of it has to do with women really rising. So how do we keep, and I love that you said this regenerative, it's not about sustaining what's already been created, because we know that doesn't work. It's regenerating and remembering and reclaiming that which we are, which is where that deep calling comes from. I know this intimately myself. I know this from knowing all of you guys and from the amazing women I get to work with. We all have this inner, you know, I call it the visionary fire. That's like, you're just like, I know that I'm meant to do something really powerful, because we are. And so what happens now? Like, what are the possibilities as we ourselves reclaim who we are and join together to form this new world that we get to that we get to see like be born during our lifetime, I believe, for sure. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Possibilities are endless when we're so much stronger together than we are apart. And, you know, MA and everybody here has said it, what used to be or normal, quote unquote, that time has passed. We've come through a time period, very heartbreaking, no question. And how many here, there was a number of you who said like, you're spending more time outside. I have a tomato plant for the first time ever and some basil plants in a pot. And, you know, I just sprouted 2 tomatoes. How amazing is that? Something I've wanted to do for years. We get to design what is to come together for the first time in centuries. We all get to come together. And a lot of, you know, I am fully supportive of feminine power, and feminine power also is part of our men folk, as I like to say sometimes.
Yes.
We all have
partnership. Yes,
exactly. We all have masculine and feminine energy. We're in this time frame of unifying the masculine and the feminine. So what is next? Anything and everything we want, because what has been is no longer working and is dying off. And the dying off of old paradigms is challenging, is heartbreaking, can look like it does right now. It has throughout history. And it doesn't have to be that way in the future, because as we level up and we bring everyone with us and we're accepting of everyone's gifts and everyone's dreams, there's plenty of room for everyone.
And that's really both of what Amy and Tia are saying is really like sparking something for me, which is, you know, I was talking about this idea of this like give and receive energy, and that they require both. We require both, but it's not just to sustain, but it actually is generative. And that the biggest gift, one of the biggest gifts that I think I took with me and have continued to carry with me since this experience where we all met, is the gift of actually being able to reach out for support. And some of you have mentioned it, but there is this other story that I think holds us down, which is that a strong, powerful woman is independent, doesn't need help from anyone, can do it all themselves. And how much has that held us back by not just saying, I need someone to lean on for a minute. How can we support each other? Because we spark each other higher every single time that we reach out for support. Like I can see, like I've talked to each of you in this way, right? Like every time we're like, oh shit, I was waiting because I thought it was too much. And then I asked, and now we're both higher than we were before. And it's like blown my mind and changed my entire life, literally, that piece alone. And so this idea of like dropping the story of anti-dependence, I've heard it called recently, and allowing space for interdependence. And the loving support and this like give and receive and grow higher together and together and together.
Well, and using our power and privilege to raise the voices of others that have been marginalized for a really long time. So it's like, yeah, shifting from that individualistic society to a more of a collective experience where we're, you know, it sounds cheesy, but joining hands and really coming together, because that is where the true opportunity for transformation is really going to happen.
Sarah, Tam and Sarah, I love how you kind of wove that into the collective experience, because it starts with us as individuals and in our households and into our communities. And if we're not operating in the way that we get to change the world, then how is the world ever going to change? You know, and it's like speaking about that whole asking for support. There's been so many times where I know from my own experience, and then other women in my life who are like, I don't want to be a burden. I feel like I'm complaining. I don't have anything good to say, so I don't want to call you and like complain. And it's like, no, this is it. Like, this is why we're here for each other, because you get to reach out if you're, and we get to reach out if we're in a good space or not a good space, if we're feeling down or if we're feeling awesome, you know. And it's important to remember that too, that if you are feeling down, that you've got a support system anywhere with anyone. And even sometimes too, like another point of one of these themes, the universal lessons, you know, it's like in the ask, just admitting to yourself, even within, I need help, I want help, I need support, then often the support will come.
And I think what I realized too through practicing asking for support is how much people feel loved and connected by you when you ask them for support.
Mm-hmm.
Can I comment on that, Nicole? That was one of the things I remember where I'm like, I want to contribute somehow, like to some, you know, we were all in our group and I'm like, I don't know what to contribute though. And it was like, well, when you ask for support or like want help with something or, you know, help support, it's like you're giving somebody else the opportunity to give. And then there goes that energy flow of the giving and receiving.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something else that we were talking about, which is in this change of what is the possibility, you know, is the integration between the divine feminine and the divine masculine that's taking place. And, you know, I love a drag queen and, you know, I just love them. And because for me, you know, they are carrying that integration, you know, today. And I don't know why they're carrying it exactly or what is going to happen out of that. But the marriage between the two is the greatest possibility.
Yeah.
In the mystery.
Mm.
Greatest Showman came to mind when you said that.
Greatest
the
Showman.
movie Greatest Showman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. What are some of the other archetypes that you guys have used as inspiration, as a way to illuminate your path? I'd be curious to hear.
Fairy godmother.
Oh,
Fairy godmother. What was that, Amy?
I have one from today. So there's this idea of being a leader among leaders, and there's like the tip of the arrow, and there's a lot of pressure that builds up behind that, and there's a lot of like force and like activation. And sometimes I just want to be a quiver with a bunch of other arrows. So Maria Aleandra, you are one of my arrows in my quiver. Yeah, you all are, to that extent of I don't have to do it alone. So the image for me is bringing that power together and knowing that it's multiplied. And, you know, this idea of the feminine and the masculine coming together, there are still moments where I push back against that. I push back against needing my husband, you know, and today I'm in a red tent and I knew I had my goddess gathering and I'm like here and I push back and he's like, can we just check in? I'm like, push back, push back. So it's about continuing to pivot and integrate in each moment, give myself the space for grace to enter in my heart and work in a way that's indeed miraculous. Because on my own, I'm not doing this thing. I am more in touch with the seen and the unseen powers that be that are conspiring tirelessly in my favor and in your favor and in everything. Like there's an upliftedness that's happening. And I think when there's so much tragedy or so much chaos going on, it's sometimes harder to give voice to that. And so I'm just appreciating the environment, the landscape here, wherever we are, to come together and share. You know, you had to start to kickstart this, like share the wins, share what's working. And I think the common currency of connecting through our struggles is no longer getting us where we want to go. I really want to reiterate that over and over again. Like we are all more powerful than we realize. And together we can do some pretty amazing things. And it's happening. Like,
yeah,
it's happening.
I feel all that. And it's like what comes to mind is that the connecting over our struggles is like the old currency. It's like the old way to find the common ground. And so as we really blaze a trail into what's the new currency of getting, you know, of communicating, is connecting through it's all good. Like no matter what's happening, It's all good.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
what you're saying.
It's embracing it all. It's not
Yeah.
rejecting the challenges,
Yeah.
embracing it and recognizing. I want to just do a shout out of gratitude, which for me to say this, the closet Luddite, the internet, you know, our collective nervous system of the planet right now. I got to celebrate your major milestone birthday in ritual from Miami to Waimea. It's like, what?
Yeah.
You know, I'm covered in chills as I say that. And it's like, I think of us sitting at that round table and Tia with the monkey key, and we're sitting at the table in our little Airbnb and we didn't know each other. And it's like having those hard discussions early on and then just like loving each other up, loving ourselves, because whatever we spot in somebody else, we've gotten ourselves. And so the more I love you up, the more I'm loving myself up, and the more I'm compassionate with myself, the more I have skillful means with others. And it's like this beautiful energetic exchange that I need you. And I think.
And she froze.
She broke the internet,
And you know
people.
You're back. Hey, Emmy, I love your hair.
Oh, Violetta. I thought of you. I was like, what would Violetta like with my hair? But like that, you know, I don't give a shit anymore. And here's the thing. I have let go. I've learned that, you know, there are certain parts of our body that as we shave them, they become public property. And these women are shaving everything these days. And I'm one of the elders here. Okay. I am no longer shaving my armpits. I am reclaiming my property, my real estate, because taking it back. So there you go.
Yeah. I'm no longer plucking my eyebrows.
Whoop, whoop.
And I didn't shave my armpits for like a month.
Yeah.
But then I felt complete. I felt like I embraced the wild woman, and I was like, I'm going to shave. But I know Tam's also on the No Shave Armpit Club.
All right.
Let me know yesterday.
If
So
you
I love it.
Pluck your eyebrows too much. As you get older, it doesn't come back.
Oh
It's
no,
not-
I did mine when
that
I
is
was
not the
16 and
case.
they didn't grow back.
It always comes back.
It always goes back.
Experience thus
There's
far.
always, it's very regenerative. Very regenerative.
I don't know, Kat, what are you going to say?
And I'm in the group where the hair doesn't grow there anymore.
I just want to honor, like, I just love being, I think I might be the youngest one here. And I just love being surrounded by all of these beautiful, inspiring women, all different stages of life. And all of you light me up every single day. Like, to your point, Amy, just celebrating together and just celebrating each other is just like the best thing ever. We could just sit here and just celebrate wins together, and we would just leave lit up. Like, we would just be vibrating so much at a higher frequency than we were when we came in. And so I love surrounding myself with people just like you, and you specifically.
And I ache for you though. I ache for playing putt-putt golf with you in Palm Desert. And I ache for my trips with David that got canceled because of COVID. You know, like I ache. There's an ache and a hunger, and I just get to acknowledge it and feel the feels. Like Tia and I are going to be roommates again someday, and I'm going to see your flannel PJs again, and she's going to put all her stones in all the corners, and she's going to bless the space, and we're going to clean our feet in the tub, and we're going to do what. Where's Lisa, by the way? Lisa's here with me, whether she's here on the screen or not. You know. Oh,
baby.
Look at this.
I'm going to have to sign off. Little man needs his bath time. So I had to bow out here for a moment, but he needs to go.
Bringing him on.
So, see you later, everybody.
Aww.
Future
Talk
divine
about
masculine.
sisterhood right there.
Oh, yes.
Love you, Jen.
I love you,
Love you
Jen. Thank
guys.
you so much for being here.
Hi, Jen.
Oh,
Bye.
that was a little burst of stardust. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Tammy, I think you
Yeah.
said such a beautiful present, something that was really beautiful is that the more we celebrate each other, which is what we're talking about here, the celebration of each other. Powerful.
Which in turn is the celebration of ourselves and our very existence. And we get to honor ourselves, and we get to love ourselves, and we get to share this with others and how they get to do that as well. I mean, it's all part of the process. You know, give, receive, teach, grow.
Mm-hmm.
As
Yeah.
a mama of a little 5-year-old powerhouse girl. It's like, this is what I want for her to know from now until forever, that she doesn't have to keep herself small to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Boy.
What are you guys most lit up about right now moving forward? And be selfish, like about you, like permission to tap into your desires. What are you most lit up about creating and rippling out into the world right now?
An authentic message.
Mm.
I feel like I've been searching and seeking and searching and seeking and pushing and trying and banging my head.
Oh, it's time. It's time.
And I'm like,
It's time.
okay.
Pop.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then finally it's like conversations like these, it's like, oh, I get to talk about my experiences and what I believe in and what actually like helps people thrive and find fulfillment and happiness in life.
Yes.
The day-to-day stuff and that we all go through and how we get to go through it to live a more fulfilled life.
I love what you're saying, MC. I thought it's why somebody needs to know what I'm doing. And why it's important to somebody.
Yeah.
And finally realizing that it is, it can help me when I'm hearing stories that I'm not alone in some struggles, daily struggles. Somebody might have something similar, and saying if I can share with the others my journey, it might be creating some ripple effect, some healing, for even if it's just for one person. It's so worth it.
Yeah. Beth, did you want to share something? I saw you unmute yourself.
It took another coach to share with me that something that I think is very common and simple, that actually it's a superpower of mine. I have grown my life coaching business connecting women through book clubs. And I thought, I just was like, that's the simplest thing in the world. And she said, people get to learn from you. You have led hundreds of people through 70 or 80 book clubs. And so during this quiet COVID, I put a little thing on Facebook. Hey, if I created this, who would be interested? And I was like, oh, boom, 25 people. I'll buy it. I'm interested. And that's all I needed to then just run with it. So I created a course, Get Paid to Read, running a high vibe book club. And I'm having a blast. Like, I thought it was just simple, and it is simple. It doesn't have to be hard, people. So,
amen. Listen, thank you, Beth. I have these conversations with my amazing clients all the time, and it's like, your zone of genius is your zone of genius for a reason. That thing that you're like, this is so easy. I can't get paid for this. Yes, you can, and you should, because that's how we keep moving the energy. And it's like we have this thing of like, it's got to look hard, and instead of just flowing, and as we flow, we continue stretching in the edge of like the new, right? Like the edge of what's next. But I love that. Thank you for sharing that, because so good.
That's what's
so
lighting
good.
me up.
Yeah, good.
From one of our coaches, Thomas, what would it look like if it was easy?
Oh,
yeah.
What a concept.
Let's see. Dava, what's lighting you up?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think staying connected right now through all this like period is just like keeping it going. I mean, I'm going to admit it's been hard. I have 3 little kids under 8, and I moved to Atlanta a year ago, no family nearby anymore. And my husband, we're both working full time, and he's going to school, and there's so much going on, and it's so exciting and new. And I love moving. That's my thing. Like just living in new places. I love that. So I'm excited to be here, but it's been all kinds of ups and downs and new things to step into. So I'm stretching in that way. And yeah, I'm starting Edge Ventures, which you mentioned. And I'm just starting to play with like, what would that look like if I just did that in my backyard? If I did that in the Appalachian Mountains? I was like planning these like majestic places in Morocco, Turkey, and all these like things mapped out. And like, what if I just started here? Like I have not been around up and down the Appalachians yet myself. So like that would be an adventure for me. Like
I'm down.
Totally. So I'm just getting creative. Like, this is what I have. So like, let's work with this. Again, it doesn't have to be big and complicated, which is like former way of acting, like the alpha, aggressive and big and flashy and whatever. And no, like, this is totally gonna be as big and huge and amazing and life-changing, just working in my own backyard here in Atlanta. So yeah, things are at play, and it's just, and it feels like things are in flow. Like every time I step away from it, something happens. I'll meet someone I just felt like a tour guide who takes people to Palestine. I was like, oh, I need your card. We're gonna go to Palestine, like eventually in the future. And, you know, like our kids are playing at the playground, and it's like, it's so my calling. It just becomes clear and clear every day, every week. Things just keep happening that like the universe is like, okay, focus. Don't like it, don't step into fear, stay in the courage, and keep moving forward, because that's where you're supposed to be, and you're doing it right, obviously. So
I love that. Nicole, what's lighting you up?
Oh my gosh, everything. I think the biggest thing is I have learned to completely surrender. Pre-COVID, I was supposed to spend April and May in California for 2 months, and ended up, because of COVID, saying I'm going to continue to kind of do my plan, except for going to California, I'm going to Atlanta. And I came to my parents' house, and it's like things have just really fallen into place for me, where it's like everything is just opening up and unfolding so perfectly, from my healing work with my food and my body and spirituality. Everything is just, I don't know, it's just like my vision in my head right now is like a little flower just whoop, opening up, and it's amazing.
Yes, thank you for inspiring us with that. That was beautiful. I felt it. Sarah, what's lighting you up?
I think just the energy of all that's coming out of this tumult and, the craziness of COVID, and, what's happening in terms of race in our country. And there's a lot of shit going down. And I guess I see it as an opportunity. Like, this is all happening for a reason. I really do believe in that. And I know that there's going to be there already are amazing things that are being born out of this. And I am excited to be a part of that and a part of that shift. And, like someone was saying, like, it does just really start small. It's starting in my home. It's starting in how I'm connecting with my kids. It's starting in how I'm relating to the clients that I work with. And so I just see the opportunity for such a better world.
Thank you. Ditto.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kat Z, what's lighting you up?
Let's see. So, from where we all met, I'm now in staffing right now and doing that. And so it ties in with what's really lighting me up in life, which is creating leaders that are going out and healing, where the mission is to heal yourself enough to go out and heal others. And so raising up leaders to heal and heal children and have that ripple effect out into the world just fires me up, is where I'm at, today. So it's sobering, and it's exciting, and it's enriching. And so I'm creating connection and healing, and that's what's lighting me up.
Love, love, love. Tia, what about you?
Oh, there's a number of things that are lighting me up. I am in the middle of writing my first book, The Arc of Healing: How Healing Trauma Transforms the Way We Live in Freedom, Fulfillment, and Love. And it's, as you all hear, my sisters know, is a very personal story for me. And it's also the story of my healing from a very intense, life-changing experience that I had in 2017. So more to come on that. And the other thing that's lighting me up is I just gave a workshop, Shift into Possibility. I loved it, loved it, loved it. I had over 107 people register. It was so much fun. I've also been training and have trained with Kat on cosmic smash booking. And so I've been able to bring that out into a lot of new and different groups of people. And that was part of my workshop, which I absolutely love. And the mission that I've been given, which is to awaken the heart of 1 million people so they may reclaim their power. Those are the things that are really lighting me up right now. And being here with all of you, absolutely reconnecting in this way and being in space all together.
Yeah. Thank you. Violeta, what about you?
What keep lighting me up is connection. Every time I hear word connect, connection is a deep, and it's part of my contract, as well as love and passion. And what I got to create in this world to unite and keep breaking through some limits of uniting inside of my family with my hubby, having amazing morning routine, walk every day, and reading our love letters from 20-something years ago. And watching, observing cats outside, playful cats that finally decided that it's okay for us to touch them and pet them. So it's amazing, that playfulness, that love, connection, and peace, finally, from a very controlling and overprotective person, and creating that ripple of that unity, and that can be created out of more love, joy, and peace.
Thank you. MC, what about you? You're on mute.
As everyone was speaking, it was like being aware that I and we are part of the conscious collective. And so every message everyone was saying about what lights them up is, I believe, what I feel, but like it's part of all of us. It's in all of us. And we each get to add our own little jazz to it because that's what gets to go out into the world. And being aware of it and healing, as Kat said. And, you know, as many of you said, like and then Amy Elizabeth, you had mentioned about being in touch with nature and the rocks and all of that. And I had an experience with a palm tree at one point. I was walking with our good friend Kate Dorsey, and I'm like, I love this palm tree. And I'm like, I feel like I was a palm tree in a past life. And it's not the first time that I've said that. Like, I've like hugged palm trees in the Turks and Caicos and in Florida. And it's like, whenever I'm obsessed with palm trees. And in one moment, I just stopped, and it was that presence of being in the moment and connecting. And I looked at the palm tree, I thanked the palm tree, and then I like reached my hand out. I'm like, is it okay if I touch you? And I touched the palm tree. I felt its textured skin, the bark of the tree and everything. And it was like, I have this deep appreciation for this palm tree. And I closed my eyes for a moment. It was like this beautiful meditation. And the palm tree said, yes, you are part of me. You were we've always been one, and we will always be one. And it led me up to the sky and the clouds swirling around and everything. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's it. It was like that connection with nature. Like, we are nature. We are of nature. We always have been, and we always will be. And that's where we get to go back to. That's where our home is. It's of Mother Nature, and we get to heal her. We get to respect her, just as we would respect us and heal ourselves and heal everybody that's in all of the energy on this planet.
Yes. Tam, what's lighting you up, sister?
Oh, well, like you said, too many things. There's too many things. No, what's really lighting me up right now is what came up earlier about zone of genius, right? Like, I've realized that one of my superpowers is that when I see people, I see them in a very holistic way. I see them in an energetic way, but I also see that their environment, their physical space, is an extension of who they are and who they are becoming. And it can be a way in towards transformation. And so I support people now with reclaiming their space, starting in their physical environment, in their home, and then learning, building muscles of sovereignty, building muscles of desire and like being with desire and what do I want for my space, and I get to choose, and building all these little muscles that then you can access anywhere in all other realms of life. And so ultimately what I teach is freedom and liberation to really fully self-express. And it feels amazing because I'm also creating it for myself in the process. And
yes.
I have not felt this much peace, serenity, and clarity, I think, ever. So.
Yes, yes, yes. And Amy E,
Yeah.
take us home with what's lighting you up.
It's the deep compassion. Yeah, it's the core compassion, the daily practices of radical self-interest and knowing that every day I can declare a moonshot, something extraordinary that wouldn't otherwise happen, and allow the magic of others and powers support me in that so that I can support others. And it's getting more and more clear to me, the addictions recovery piece. I've kind of put that off, and I've had some clients recently who are in crisis and they're like, why didn't you call me out on my pot use? And I'm like, because you told me you were using it homeopathically and that was important to you. And they're like, no, you know, this is your message. Why didn't you carry that? So I'm like, oh, how have I fallen into what I've learned in Buddhist psychology is called idiot compassion, you know? And it's like, I don't want idiot compassion for people. I want to embrace people where they are, and I want to be able to take a stand for them. So like Kat was saying, like, be a star maker, be a leader maker. And I have a small group, What Matters Most, and in there we're birthing new leaders, and then they're doing the next group, and people are organically finding their arc of connection through addiction recovery and relational healing and contemplative practice. Because I think the world needs us to basically get over ourselves so that we can be of maximum service while enjoying the good life, the extraordinary life. It's the big both and. You know, I love the both and. Yes, the moonshot maker. Yes, moonshot.
Yes.
Thank you.
Emma, what about you? What is lighting you up?
Thank you. Oh, cool. Yes, what's lighting me up? You know, it's really being clearer than ever on my vision and my purpose of why I'm here, why I was brought into this lifetime, of what I've chosen into, the incredible, miraculous things and the incredibly brutal lessons that were meant to, that forge us, that shape us. And what's lighting me up is absolutely creating, is waking up, is catalyzing other women who have that like, this is so big. What do I do with this thing that I have inside? And I don't know how to give shape to it. Is I help them give shape to it. I'm passionate about helping them see what's possible and help them actually take the steps to make it so that it doesn't stay in the journals and it doesn't stay in the wishes and dream state, but it actually becomes what we need. Because I believe that what we do in life is a direct, tangible representation of our calling, and our divine appointment is what I call it. So that's, I'm crazy lit up about that, and being continuing to emerge in my own sense of freedom and authenticity, and just being all that and more. So yeah, it's good. It's a good time. It's a good time. Thank you. You guys, this has been amazing. I feel like time kind of stood still for a little bit here, right? This is like quantum juiciness. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being here, for your vulnerability, for your beauty, for your joy, for illuminating the screen with such power, and for what's to come, because this is a total continuation of the story that we're weaving together, and the impact that each of us is having in our own way is beyond what we can measure right now. And I don't think there's any way to measure it, really. So thank you so much. And to everybody who is watching, who caught us live, who's watching the replay, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing in the space. I hope you found this as inspiring and nourishing and joy inducing as I did. And yeah, I love you all. I love you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're
Thank
so
you.
welcome. All right. I'm going to turn off the recording, ladies, but stick around. Don't go anywhere, okay?
Mhm.
I love you all. And bye to everybody watching. Mwah. See you next
Love
week.
you. Love you, love you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.